would have just a very short and quick session. And to moderate this session is no other person but Abubakar Yogbari. He is, ladies and gentlemen, please a round of applause for Abubakar Yogbari. He is the Programs Officer, African Union CFR. And this session is about overcoming certification barriers to grow a sustainable business. Ladies and gentlemen, I would implore you to pay keen attention. Certification issue is a big deal. I'm sure entrepreneurs can attest to this. And so we've brought together speakers who will be talking to us about how to navigate certification issues. Once again, a round of applause for the moderator. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Program Director, Your Excellency. Good morning. I know it's not always easy to be between, like this is the last session before lunch, right? So I'm so sorry I'm coming in at this particular time, but definitely we need to discuss all those challenges that entrepreneurs are facing when it comes to certification. So I will be having on the stage here, my panelists. So allow me to invite them. When I'm inviting them, if you can give a round of applause to have them on the stage. Please allow me to introduce Kenechi Ezezika, Managing Partner, OAKE. Thank you. Let's also welcome on the stage Ganiyat Olusola Adebayo, Group Head Environment Standards Organization of Nigeria. Welcome. Thank you. And also Nadine Umutoni, Project Coordinator, African Organization for Standardization. Thank you. And finally, Sarah Ajayi, Deputy Director, International Strategic Partnership and Trade Office. Thank you. Welcome to you all. Okay, I'm going to start with Nadine, if you don't mind. Nadine. Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay. Welcome. Nadine. So in terms of the work that you do, how do you, because I know that you are supporting basically African entrepreneurs who have never certified a product, right? So in this process, what are the main challenges that you usually get from entrepreneurs that really lead to certify the product? What are the common challenges that you usually receive from those entrepreneurs, and especially women entrepreneurs? You have the floor.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Let me just introduce in 1 or 2 seconds myself and my organization. I'm Nadine Umutoni, as he said. I'm from the African Organization for Standardization, an institution which is an intergovernmental organization, and it was formed in 1977 to provide standard harmonization services and conformity assessment procedures. So thank you for asking the question on entrepreneurs. As I said, we are an intergovernmental organization. How do we relate to entrepreneurs? So standards, as you well know, are applied by the entrepreneurs as you are. So it's not the government applying the standards. So the standards that we provide as well as conformity assessment procedures are being implemented by entrepreneurs. So we reach out to them through the government, but also through the standardization work. So the entrepreneurs, as well as research institutions, regulators, are coming together to form the content of the standards. And you well know that the standards are the basis for compliance or for certification. For an entrepreneur to get certified, they need to show that they are complying with a certain set of requirements, and these requirements are the standards. So that's why I started with standards, so that we go to certification.
Okay.
So entrepreneurs, we meet over awareness creation activities, such as sensitization workshop, like this. They have a lot of challenges. The first one is lack of information, where to get the standards, where to get those lists of requirements, and who should I involve to get them or to get certified. So that is the issue, and what we do, we always produce the outreach materials.
Okay.
These are simple documents that simplify the technical language of the standards with pictorials, with diagrams to show how now you can implement this standard. Because the standard is too much technical, so we always provide, after each standard is published, we develop those kind of materials to show a farmer, a simple farmer, how to implement that standard. So that is one, the lack of information. And the other one is lack of capacity,
okay.
Technical capacity and financial capacity. So what we do is to link them with partners, and sometimes we support them to get certified. And now, at the second time, when because the certification has a period, we normally have a certification which lasts for 3 years. After 3 years, you do a recertification to show that you are still complying. So then it is a gradual process or improvement where the entrepreneur takes over after our support for sustainability issues.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I will probably give the floor now to Kenechi. Do you have a mic there? Okay. It's basically trying to understand how kind of like small and medium enterprises that cannot afford legal representation, how are they managing with those certification requirements, and also what are the legal implications when you are not certified, for instance, when you are not aligned with standards? Can you tell us more about this one? But I'm also giving you a chance to introduce yourself briefly, so for the audience, please.
Good afternoon, all. I stand on all existing protocols. My name is Kenechi Ezezika. I'm a managing partner of OAKE Legal, a law firm based in Lagos and Abuja. I think I'll start from your second question about certifications and the importance of certifications in the businesses we do. Now, there are two types of certifications, I would say. There are the ones that are mandatory, which you must do, and then there are the ones that, are voluntary, which is they are nice to haves. They are not must haves. They're nice to haves, but they give you a competitive edge. I will say focus, when you start out, depending on what stage you are at your business, you focus on the must haves, because those are the ones that if you don't have, you get into trouble. If you are, for example, if you are based in Nigeria and you have a food business, or you are producing something for the shelves, you need to get NAFDAC certification. And if you do not get NAFDAC certification and you put your products on the shelf, you create a problem. Maybe one day they carry all your goods away. You start having problems with even customers. There's a lack of trust because you haven't done what you need to do. So focus on what you need to do, and then you move to the nice to haves. So the nice to haves, maybe ISO certifications on, different things that they're nice to have, they're not compulsory, but it will also take your product or take you to the next level in your business. How do you navigate legal costs? Well, being one of the people that charge those legal costs, I will say, start with educating yourself. You need to know what you have to get as a business. Thankfully, there's a lot of information that is available at our fingertips. Most people have smartphones. Natasha was kind enough to give us some resources. The ITC has maps, sustainability maps, standards maps. Find out what is out there. What do you need? What does your business, what does your industry need? This within your locality. If you want to take it to another locality or to another place, you want to export, whatever you need to do, what do you need to do? When you find out those things, then you form, Dr. Michael, I think, mentioned collaboration. You form associations, things like that. You collaborate with people, it reduces costs. If an association of rice farmers or, something, if they come together and they say, oh, we need help in doing this, and they go to a lawyer and say, we need help in doing this, my idea is going to reduce your costs significantly. So there are ways to go around it. Legal fees are not necessarily prohibitive if you are smart about it. And then take advantage of the free resources. There are many resources that are out there and are available for you to take advantage of without necessarily needing to break the bank. Okay.
Thank you very much, Kenechi. I will then move to Ganiyat and Sarah. I know both of you will be speaking to specific certification. Ganiyat first. I hope I'm pronouncing very well. So basically, it's how do we process? How is the process of obtaining an SON certification practically? But then also, if you can share with us how SON support businesses in adopting environmental standard, for instance, because we have been talking about going green and all this process. So how is your organization support in this process? You can also introduce yourself to the audience before you answer to the question.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for this opportunity. Impact I'm so grateful to be here. I'm so humbled to be on this seat. So I'm Dr. Ganiyat Olusola Adebayo. I'm an assistant director and the group head of environment standards at Standards Organization of Nigeria. So I coordinate standard development in so many areas of the environment, such as air quality, drinking water, wastewater, and stormwater services, environmental aspects of plastics, circular economy, green economy, environmental aspect of textiles, sustainability in buildings, cities and communities, just to mention a few. So when we talk about certification, in Standards Organization, our vision is to improve lives through standardization and quality assurance. So when we talk about standardization, that is the process of developing standards. It can be product standards, it can be process standards, and it can be system standards, depending on the one that is relevant to you. So, and we also do quality assurance, which is a process of, is a proactive process of detecting defects before your final products. Okay, so when you want to certify your products, when you come to us, you have a product you want to certify. First of all, we ask you, is your business registered with Corporate Affairs Commission? We need to know your business name. We don't deal with individuals, so you have to be registered as a business. That's the first thing we ask you. So then we have a scheme that we call MANCAP. MAN, that's the first three letters of mandatory. Then the C is conformity, A, assessment, and P is program. This program started in 2006, and it is mandatory for all locally manufactured products to be certified under this scheme. The MANCAP form is just 5,000 naira. So when you obtain that form, we are going to attach some documents, such as the CAC, your corporate affairs, your business registration, you attach that. Then we also encourage, if you are a company, no matter how small you are, whether you are on a nano scale, whether you are a micro scale enterprise, whether you are small or medium or large, we always encourage you to have a small laboratory where you can do some tests. Because the standard states some parameters that you can check. For example, you are producing, give me an example of any product. Let's say you are producing plastics.
Okay.
Or you are producing water. You should have a laboratory where you can check some things. Because when the SON inspectors come to you, they check your product, they check the quality assurance. From the beginning, that's from the raw materials. They ask you, what do you do to your raw materials? What do you check? You have raw water, for example. What do you check before you pump into the production facility? So during your production, what do you check? All these things, you are supposed to document them. You document your raw materials check. You document your in-process checks. Then you also check the final products. Before you start packaging into the bottle, you need to check and document all these things. So when you obtain the MANCAP form, we are going to attach the report of our inspection report. It's a quarterly report. We visit you every 3 months, so we attach a minimum of 2 reports to the MANCAP application form. Then your CAC have said that your laboratory results in line with the standard. We have standard for potable water, for example. There is nothing in this room that does not have standard. This chair I'm sitting on has a standard. So if you want to certify this type of furniture, this under civil building group, you have to go in line with the standard. So you have to check this furniture in line with the stated requirements of the Nigeria Industrial Standard.
Okay.
The standard is a consensus document. It is not SON document. The standard is a consensus document, a document that is agreed upon by stakeholders. The stakeholders are made up of people from the academics, the industrialists, the research institutions, the laboratories, the end users. These are the people that come together to write the standard. We only put up a draft, and when these people come together, they argue on the contents of the standard and agree upon it. Without any agreement, we don't have a standard. And without standard, there cannot be certification. So we certify you based on the standard that is relevant to your products. So for example, the water I'm talking about, we certify you. When you meet up all the requirements of the water standard, then we give you a certificate, which lasts for 3 years. Then you renew after 3 years.
Okay.
What's the second question?
The second question, you talked about it a bit, like the process of supporting those women entrepreneurs into the process, yeah.
Okay.
So
the process of supporting, we have some training services. They do capacity building for entrepreneurs. If you come to us, like you have some set of people that are producing a particular product, we can tailor our training towards what they are doing. So we do capacity building for them. We also do this draft, this standard writing is also a way of supporting them. Because without the standard, you cannot have quality products. So we support by developing standard, we do capacity building, and we do advocacy and awareness for entrepreneurs. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I will now give the floor to Sarah. And Sarah, let's talk about NAFDAC certification. How do we get that certification, first of all? But also, can you just tell us what are the common mistakes that arise when women, especially having small and medium enterprises, are always doing when it comes to the process of getting the NAFDAC certification?
Okay, thank you very much.
And sorry once again for the calling on the stage. Okay. You can introduce yourself to the audience and then respond to the question.
Okay. My name is Sarah Ajayi. I'm a deputy director with the International Strategic Partnership and Trade Office of the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC. NAFDAC, as we know, is a federal government organization that is mandated to regulate and control the production, sale, use, advertisements of products we call regulated products. And these regulated products are food, could be drug, could be cosmetics, could be detergents, it could be even the water we're talking about. So there are some products that NAFDAC regulates. And in getting NAFDAC certification, we first have to put in some activities or some requirements down. First is to get a premise, a facility that is acceptable. Once the facility is satisfactory, you're now to commence with documentation. And for documentation, you need to get the right documents, just like my sister from SON said. You need to have your CAC. You need to be a taxpayer, so your TIN is mandatory. That's the tax identification number. It's mandatory. And then you need to have a certain level of knowledge, or I would say expertise, on what you want to manufacture, what you want to produce. And if you don't, you can employ someone as a production manager who has that knowledge on the product. So you need to have the right documents in place. Once your documentation is satisfactory, you move to the next stage, which is the inspection stage, where officers will visit your facility to ensure that the facility is satisfactory. Samples are collected for laboratory evaluation. And when that is satisfactory, we go ahead to issue you the market authorization, which we all know as the NAFDAC registration number. Now, when it comes to mistakes, we have noticed that a lot of people are not patient enough to know the requirements. Someone spoke about information. Visit NAFDAC website, www.nafdac.gov.ng. Go under guidelines, either for MSME or for the products you want to register, and you will get the information there. Another mistake we have noticed is when people don't give the full information required. Inadequate information is a mistake we have also observed. Another one is facility that is not satisfactory can also affect registration. And then we have observed also that a lot of people do not work with their email addresses. NAFDAC process is automated right now, and so we deal with you from digitally. And so a lot of people do not use their email addresses. They either use the email addresses of their consultants or of business centers. So where you have a compliance issue or something, a query, you're not able to respond because, of course, you cannot access that message. So we advise MSMEs to have their own personal email addresses, their businesses should have. Then also check your messages for message from NAFDAC, because anytime there's a issue with your registration process, we actually send you a notification. So you can also trace your registration process through that. And finally, inadequate. So, like we said, a lot of people come, they don't have the TIN, they don't have CAC business registration, and yet they want to register the product. All these documents are mandatory. You have to have them to get your products registered. There are a lot of them, but let me just stop here. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very, very much. I'm coming back to Nadine. Nadine, can you share with us in terms of the emerging trends in the global certification requirement, because we also need to make sure that African SMEs are also getting ready to be on the stage internationally. So maybe from your experience, what are the emerging trends that we should get ready for in the coming years, for instance?
Yeah, thank you so much once again. So at international level, we have a lot. Actually, there is so many people call them, like they give that multiplicity of schemes, they give them so many names. Like we have, at the global level, we have some global gap, we have, depending on the market, you know, the European market, we have their own regulations. Them, they have put regulations that are very tough, and because the European market is the largest market of African products, We have to emphasize on that. And in the beginning, the first speech, we have told about the EUDR, the European Union Deforestation Regulation. It's a current trending regulation in terms of sustainability that African must adhere to. Okay. Because it targets 7 products. We have cocoa, we have palm oil, we have soya, we have rubber, we have coffee, what else? There are 7 of them. And as you all know, the West Africa is the biggest producer worldwide of the cocoa, palm oil. Actually, Africa is really concerned with those value chain. So what we do, at ARSO, we have dealt with these issues by developing standards, sustainability standards that are tackling the requirements of the EUDR. Meaning, whoever is applying the African standards, of course, channeled through SON. You have heard what Adebayo was saying, the process of applying the SON standard. This means the SON standard include African standards that they have adopted. So we are together here, but what I'm saying is that those sustainability standards are helping a lot the African SMEs to trade with the EU. I can give an example of the cocoa sustainability standard that we have. Okay. It is a standard which has 3 parts, and the African countries are the ones who promoted the harmonization of these standards after they have observed that the international standard is not satisfying the African farmers. So the African countries rejected the international standards, and they came to ARSO. So we had developed these standards, and these standards was recognized to have a direct linkage with the EUDR. There is a publication on that. So we have had a good experience from Cameroon and other West African countries that have already applied this standard, that their production and their income have doubled in terms of export of the cocoa produce. So thank you very much, but that was only one, but I have seen that we are constrained with time. Definitely. There are so many other schemes that we should abide.
Sure. We will get also time to have some bilateral discussion during the conference in the coming today and tomorrow. So I'm coming back to Kenechi. We are running after time. Is there an impact of having a proper certification when you are negotiating at the international level with particular investors? So if you can just tell us briefly in 2 minutes, what do you think about it? Sorry for that.
Yes. There is a very big impact in having proper certification. First of all, if you do not have mandated certifications, no serious investor will speak to you. That's the truth. No serious investor will put money in a business where you do not have your mandated certifications. At most, they will tell you, go get this first, and then we put money behind you, whether it is as debt or as equity, whatever. We'll put money behind you when you do this. Then the voluntary certifications, it gives you an added advantage. People see you, they know, oh, okay, for you to have gotten this certification, that means that your business, your processes have been vetted. So if it is a sustainability certification, that means that your businesses have been vetted this way, and your business is a sustainable business. If it's another kind of certification, it just gives confidence to the investor. So yes, it makes a very big impact, and it's something that would encourage you because it just takes you and your business to the next level. Okay,
thank you very much. Ganiyat, quick one on this one. Share with us the struggle of women entrepreneurs in specifically meeting the requirement for environmental standard certification requirement. No, I was saying, If you can tell us, because many African entrepreneurs are really struggling to understand and meet the environmental certifications requirement, do you like have specific resource in terms of capacitating most of them to be able to meet those standards, particularly the environmental, yeah. Quick one, just
okay.
1 minute, 30 seconds.
Okay, for environment, the
Yeah.
environment group is quite new in SON.
Okay.
But we are trying our best. I'm the first group head there. So we
Okay.
are trying all our best to put some tools in place. Like in 2019, we developed a standard for recycled PET bottles. And we are in the process of developing some standards on compostable straws, compostable carrier bags. Like there are some companies that produce rug underlay with these PET bottles. We are trying to develop standards for them. So when we do that, we try to train them. We explain to them the contents of the standard. We organize technical committee meetings whereby we train them on how to implement the standards. So
Yeah.
I think that's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sorry for the time. Sarah, last question. It's about the NAFDAC. What does it? What work have you done to kind of the same question as I was asking to Nadine, also to align with international standard in your case, for instance?
Okay. First, NAFDAC works with the standards set by that's the Nigerian Industrial Standards.
Okay.
That is set by the Standards Organization of Nigeria. And then another thing NAFDAC has done is to ensure that as a body, it's also certified. So NAFDAC has the ISO 9001:2015 certification, that's for quality management system. And NAFDAC has ensured that our laboratories are ISO certified 17025. They are certified. And NAFDAC has also gone ahead in the drug aspect to help some of our pharmaceutical industries to obtain the WHO pre-qualification.
Okay.
We are also working with manufacturers of syringes just to get them there. NAFDAC also, for manufacturers now, we do a lot of capacity building to bring them to understand the requirements. Of course, we work with certifications or standards, set up by Codex and some international organizations to add to what we have, just so that our manufacturers will be well equipped to compete favorably in the international market. So we do a lot of capacity building, a lot of trainings to get the MSMEs to grow and be fully certified. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, sorry for the time was too short. This is the end of our panel. And in short, to conclude on this, if you want to be competitive at the international level, you should make sure that you also get to the steps to get certified and also meet the standard. Thank you very much for your attention, and please a round of applause for the panelists.